How dare you?
Not you, listener. We love you. You're good. You're
Just
perfect.
come in like that. Just
You're
how
great.
dare you?
You're great. Welcome to Scrub Mode. My name's Julio. This little podcast sits at the intersection of gaming and monsters. Today's a special little game we're playing. We're playing some improv, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. You guys want to introduce yourself?
I'm John, man. I've had a week, so I'm glad to be playing. And it's only Tuesday. Woof. So I'm glad to be playing the game.
And I'm Ryan. I haven't had a week yet, but you know it's getting there.
Oh no.
We're building up to it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Anyway, welcome. I think I kind of want to just do a whole new scenario
As I slide back
with
into
you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't made character sheets, you know.
We're not making characters. Well, we are making characters, but I think you can be whatever you want to be. The rules for the game
be
are
whoever you
there are no
want.
modifiers. It's just a raw D20
Okay.
roll.
Raw power.
We're just going raw. Yeah.
Oh god.
Praising.
As it left my mouth, I
Hair
realized I
lifting.
should have said that.
Realized how raw it really was.
It's gonna be a little baked, I guess. You gotta bake it a little bit. But yeah, okay. So let me roll dice for some inspiration here. Just gonna roll the d20. 13, lucky 13. Okay, so what's a thing that starts with the letter 13?
A thing that starts with the letter 13.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with that sentence.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway, you guys are at the you're at the dentist's office.
Wow, okay. I did not expect this for a D&D prompt.
Yeah, you're going to the dentist. You have horrible teeth, and you
Taking
got
a turn.
You've got a toothache, and you're in the dentist's office, and yeah,
So-
you're.
Is this your setting still? I need some context.
This is a fantasy setting with
Okay.
a fantasy dentist's office. Yeah.
It's just D&D, but with the dentist.
It's like modern day. It's modern day.
Yeah, one of the D's stand for dentist.
Yeah.
Dentists and Dragons. Dungeons and Dentists.
Dungus and dentites.
Yeah. And, I'm going to say Ryan is the dentist and John.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa, okay.
All right, cool. Sounds good to me, I guess.
I've
Let's say you're getting your wisdom teeth.
You're like, I don't know what's going on.
yeah, I'm like,
John's lost.
I am lost. Like I said, it's been a week. Yeah, I guess I've heard of this new magic called dentistry, and I'm here to have it performed
Yes.
Oh, it's wonderful.
because I have a cankerworm of the tooth.
I come. I keep my office immaculate. There's several magazines of Arrow Monthly. There's a highlights for kids. They exist in this world too. But someone's already completed the puzzle on the back, so there's
Ain't
like
that
10
always the
marks
way?
on it. So I come out from the office.
First, the dental hygienist comes out, and
Yeah.
she's an elf, and she assesses you. She asks you like, you've been flossing, all that.
I don't know what
You've
flossing is. I'm a...
Again,
medieval
fairly new
peasant.
concept.
Okay, yeah.
She goes, "Oh right, you do.
Yeah.
That's why you're here."
I
Oh,
can
of
hit the
course.
whip, I can hit the nay, never done the floss. That just instantly turned off every Gen Alpha person, every Gen C person.
I was like, the Soldier Boy was in them.
Oh man, remember that? Remember Soldier Boy?
I will never
Hell
forget
yeah.
Soldier Boy, especially the weird. Do you guys know this? He did a weird song for The Bachelor, maybe the Bachelorette.
Whoa! And
Um,
how weird was this song?
it's hard to describe it without you watching it, but the I don't know enough about bachelor culture to adequately explain this. This is like we're in Plato's dude cave. We're not just in Plato's cave. Like I lack I'm seeing shapes on the wall and I'm trying to articulate what I've seen to you two.
I see.
But it's a song about dating the woman in the show or possibly the man for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which seems odd because it is a game show. There are no right reasons as far as I'm
Yeah.
aware. You're getting clout, you want to marry her to marry her and for clout, or you want to marry her to like no one's on that
15
show.
minutes of fame.
Yeah, like no one's on that show because they think they're gonna find love, and even if they are, they're not like. So it, boy, this is really
It
outside
was
my
a really
wheelhouse.
strange.
But like part of the song is that all the contestants sing it and nobody is on key, and even my tone deaf ass
Was all like,
cringes
this is terrible.
when I hear it. Where I'm like, oh no, ooh, did they just have one afternoon to film this? Probably.
It's. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they only did have like an afternoon to get that down.
We're gonna.
But the biggest question is why did they even get Soldier Boy to fucking?
I'm gonna Google my ass right now. Sorry, Julio. We've immediately. Yeah.
It's okay. I know how great.
Okay, it was The
ideas that
Bachelorette.
would be.
So I'm gonna correct myself already.
Okay.
Mhm. The Bachelorette.
Apparently, someone not being there for quote unquote the right reasons, according to this redditor from 16 years ago, is a core part of the show. People often
Ugh.
accuse each other of not being there for the right reasons.
Okay. Well, they're
Makes
there to be
sense.
on TV, so.
Yes, and this
So-
was several years ago, so it was at least 2013 is the oldest one I can find, if not before that. So this would have been his heyday.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm finding out that he's our age, which means he hit his big hit when we were all in high school, which, like, good for him, man.
When he was
Good
like
for him.
16.
Good for him,
Yeah,
buddy.
like 16, 17.
Way to go.
Yeah,
Way to go,
it's-
Soldier Boy.
Yeah, he was 17. Good for him. The,
Good for
the
him.
You know
whole
what?
fake
That
console
explains
thing
so
is not
much.
as good,
Yeah.
but good for
That
him.
makes sense with the whole Soldier Boy console, handheld console thing, then.
Should we talk about that? Or should we get back to the game? Because that's a
I
crazy
mean, like,
story.
that was an insane story. But, like, it's. I mean, not to segue into something even more, like, out of loop, or out of, like to tangent into a tangent. But,
Julio's
I've
running
been-
it. It's not my circus today.
It's fine.
we're just covering the show. We're covering airtime for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Way to remove the veil, Wizard of Oz. But I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos related to analyzing things from the past, whether it be like an aesthetic value or like why certain things have not felt the same way as they did before.
Mhm.
Like I saw this very interesting video from a YouTuber. I'm trying to remember their name right now. Their YouTube channel. I'll figure it out later. But
We'll
it's
put it in the show
Nation
notes.
something. Yeah, it's Nation something. But they do a lot of video essays about like analyzing interesting subject topics.
Okay.
Usual, as per usual on YouTube. This one was about why television does not feel the same anymore. Why, like, between watching streamed content versus watching syndicated television was such a different experience, right?
It was.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
It's amazing
like, one
when
of
you really
the-
think about it. Like
Not-
that there
It
was
is.
just this thing that was like streaming constantly
Well,
on TV.
I was going to say, not to jump into a third tangent, but have you seen that on Disney Plus? They now have fake channels where it's just like a topic and they're streaming stuff continually in that topic. And it's like,
Oh.
on one
Yeah.
hand,
Kinda
I'm
like-
like, this is why we stopped watching TV. So, you could always just watch whatever you wanted to watch. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
oh, I've been there. I've had a day like today
Yeah.
where I don't care what's on the TV. I just want some noise because I can't handle the
Yeah.
voices anymore. You know?
yeah.
I get
get it.
Well, it's interesting because that video touches upon that. It was like there's a lot of streaming services now that kind of try to simulate, which is a weird thing to say, but kind of simulate the idea of formally broadcasted television. Like, for example, Pluto TV. They do the thing where there's themes around their channels, right? So they would run television
Really?
shows with ad reels in between. But, on Pluto TV, you get things like, Universal Classic, and it'll just show Universal produced hour-long shows with in between cuts of
Really?
ads. Yeah, or they'd have like a whole game show section where they're built. Each channel is specifically just one game
Are
show.
the commercials structured the same way they were like TV times?
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say. I
They're-
just assumed Pluto TV had that because it was like
No, yeah,
it's
exactly.
easy.
For
Even
Pluto-
everything has ads in it now. Again, even though it's all streaming, like
Everything
Yeah.
has ads in it. Yeah, and for sure it's like that. But it's kind of structured like television, like broadcast television. Like it's a few ads that are either something about a car or something about like another sort of
A commercial.
yeah, like a commercial of something, medication, whatever. And then,
Sure.
of course, you get in between the specialized, like, oh, this is the streaming platform ad, right? It's like, oh, watch what you want on Pluto TV. But it's not in the sense of like streaming what you want, it's choosing a channel that is the show that you want.
Mm.
But yeah,
very bizarre.
yeah, he goes into his. It's weird. It's weird what it's trying to simulate. Again, a
Yeah.
weird thing to say, but it's simulating broadcast television. But yeah, the YouTuber who's doing the essay, he's touching on some very interesting points, which is that with broadcast television, like you said, it's just something to watch. You have no control over it, right?
Yeah.
It's something that other people has scheduled beforehand, and they have ads in between to help sustain the television, the broadcasting channel.
Yeah, I mean, not to be an insufferable leftist, but the point is the ads, right? Like you want to draw a lot. That's how that's how the money works. Is you want to draw a large audience to watch the TV, so that people will pay you more for your ad spots.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
your ad spots. But the thing is that like what he was mainly touching upon is A, the feeling, and then B, what caused it to die, right?
Okay.
Which is the feeling is that since you had no control over what you wanted to watch, it felt more so that you had that sort of parasocial connection with people you didn't know, that you were watching the same thing, right? So you know that
The water
Since
cooler
the water cooler stuff, right?
feature. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that though. He does say that. He does bring up that term. It's something to talk about later, right? Because it's something that everyone has saw at the same time. You know that at 8 o'clock, this show shows up, and then everyone's gonna talk about that the next day. Because it's not like, oh, at 8 o'clock I watched Star Wars, The Mandalorian. Meanwhile, oh, at 8 o'clock this guy streamed like the sixth time watching The Little Mermaid. It's like you can't talk about something like that because you didn't watch the same thing at that same time.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
And then, like, what's really fun is that he mentions that, like, broadcast television sort of just died overnight due to streaming platforms, like, just coming up, right? Like, Netflix appearing was the death of broadcast television.
Netflix
because-
appearing.
Yeah, because they brought about this concept of, hey, you get to watch what you want, right? You get to just watch a show that you want.
Mhm.
And broadcast television not wanting to be a part of that. And also the fact that royalties that were paid out through broadcast television wasn't being applied in the same way from streaming.
Yes, of
which
course.
led to the huge writer strike, right? Because it's just like, wait, you're getting crazy amounts of money from getting the television show that we wrote
I mean,
for you streamed at a time, and then you're not even giving that back to us. We're getting pennies to your dollars. That's what caused the writing strike, which then
Yeah, I
toppled
mean,
into
my understanding too is that like you used to be able to earn a living as a
Yeah,
writer off like
by writing for television
a few
shows.
TV shows, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then now that people had the access to watch those series over and over again, and those royalties rolling back into the companies but not back into the writers, was what hurt them, which then led to them going on strike, which then led to, which is a weird long tie back, reality television like The Bachelor and Road Rules.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a writer for reality television. At
Yeah.
most, you need someone to direct these people. But other than that, it's
Producers too,
watching
and all
someone's
that,
life,
you know?
right?
Yeah, I mean there are writers, right? But they don't. I'm not sure exactly
Yeah.
what the union rules for that are. I might be talking out of my butt, but yeah, right. Like the
Mhm.
whole
Like-
point was that from the last writer strike, or 2 writer strikes ago, because there's the one when we
Yeah.
were in high school. There's
Yeah. Then there was the one like further back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Like
that
when we were
one,
in
yeah.
middle school.
yeah,
But it was interesting because it was just like, oh yeah, a lot of this stuff that kind of built up to like the death of broadcast television was just sort of like a snowball from this point in history,
yeah,
or at least this point in time. Another fun thing that he kind of brings up is that like each television channel had a personality, right? Like,
yeah. That's sort of
Uh,
what I missed. Is I don't.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just
Yeah.
being older, and maybe it's just being more, again, not to be an inseparable leftist, but more wary of how capitalism is the antithesis to art. But I,
I mean,
don't
it's a
feel this
little bit of
loyalty
that.
to Netflix or Disney Plus that I did to
right?
the Disney
Yeah,
Channel or
especially-
Cartoon
especially
So
Network.
after-
watching like a channel that you liked, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you
yeah.
liked a channel because it's like this is like specifically everything from the commercial structure to the bumps in between,
Yes,
right?
the bumps were huge.
Mhm.
to the content that was shown on the television, that from on that channel was integral to the identity of television channels, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like the reality TV hit caused the homogenizing of television, right? Because everybody started to follow a reality TV angle. History Channel was
Even
showing
Cartoon Network
reality
for a minute.
television.
Remember that?
Even Cartoon Network
Yeah,
when they
TV
stepped away
CN
from
Reel.
being cartoons. Yeah,
Yeah.
the CN Reel, where they
Yeah.
had, which is the craziest thing, Andrew WK.
I like
hosting a
Andrew
show.
WK. I hope he hasn't
No,
done
he's
anything
crazy.
terrible.
He's fun. But it was insane to have, like, I wouldn't expect CN fucking Cartoon Network to grab Andrew WK to host their reality television show of, like, a kid's game show.
I mean, no offense to him, but probably somebody's kid was into him. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, no,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, which is probably the only reason why they picked up on him, because, like, hey, like, this guy kind of got, the kids, like, behind him, Like, he's got, like, this following of, like, the cool edge, right?
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
it was definitely that also that killed broadcast television, when the channels started to homogenize, right? They started to flatten out. There's like TLC, reality, Animal Planet, reality, History, reality, Discovery, reality.
you're touching so many of my like. What is this? This isn't even Uncle Corner. It's like we used to be a real countryism, but for millennials.
We used to know what media was about.
Like
We used to
remember
like
No.
Yeah.
remember when X was good, which
Yeah.
is a very dangerous sentiment to have. But
It
like,
is.
remember when Shark Week was good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they showed actual shark facts.
Yeah,
And not like, oh, what if Sharknado was just our content?
Oh,
it's
man.
yeah.
it's ridiculous because, like,
Yeah.
again, like you said, remember when X was good is a very dangerous sentiment. But I'm heavy in that shit. Like, I am all in that
I mean,
nostalgia corner.
It's
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy though, because it's like, again, like in his whole video, he's just like going through the history of television, and it's like television came up like after someone in the 1800s was like, what if we broadcasted images to people? And it's like, cool, like we made it
Yeah.
work. And then it's all like, well, broadcasting back then only had 3 channels, formerly 4, but then one of them fell out. But it had 3 channels, which was like NBC, like CBS, and then something else. and it's like, oh, those channels all showed either like the same thing or was playing the national anthem, and all the TV shows that you would watch was nothing but like something that you could have just picked up on radio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like anything that you could watch on there was basically broadcasted radio but with images, so no one really cared. And then American Bandstand showed up, right?
Yeah.
You got people
I-
playing music.
Now, I've heard
and
that term before. I have no idea what that actually is.
American Bandstand was a television show that was created, I think, who was it, like
1920s?
like like something in the
10s?
yeah, something like 19, I know, I think later 1940s or something.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's essentially Soul Train, white people Soul Train.
I see.
White People Soul Train is a very vivid description.
It's like they had the youngsters dancing, they had recent bands playing on there, and
Mhm.
it was introducing a lot of people in America to new music, right? Fun stuff. They even were the first people to air on television colored people, people of color.
Hey,
Mhm.
Yeah, but it had to be at a late night slot, but still they introduced, blues and jazz and, rock like that through, I mean, like, again, caveats, but they
Yeah.
they showed people that needed to be shown on television.
Yeah.
And then after that, it started to expand, right? Then we got the big killer of radio broadcasting in terms of like, where you get all your news and all that stuff, which was MTV. MTV showed up.
God, MTV, even by our time, it's so funny because, like, again, not to be nostalgia tripping as a millennial, but like,
Mhm.
by our time, I had, older cousins and stuff like that who were like, oh, MTV's ruined. And I'm like, what do you mean? Jackass is the best show that's ever been made. even-
I get it.
Even
yeah.
by the time we were teenagers, it was,
It's
Yeah, it
definitely
was already on
becoming
the
something
downturn.
different. And there were other channels that were coming up trying to compete with it. Remember Fuse?
Yeah,
I don't
Fuse
remember
was
Fuse.
there.
I remember
Fuse.
Spike.
Yeah,
but not...
I remember Fuse.
Julio, tell me about Fuse. I'm not just saying this to fill the air. Like, what is
Fuse
Fuse?
was-
I've never heard of that before.
Fuse is the other like music channel. They were trying to be like all about just music and like
Mhm.
bands, live performances,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I remember
they would have like
what was
they would have,
what was the metal show
concerts.
they had?
The metal show. Oh, I know
That
what
was-
you mean. Yeah,
they
yeah.
had- They had all
it was,
these really bright new faces who were hosting. Julia
was that
Trinetsky was
show?
the voice of the
Shoot.
metal one. I think
Say
it was,
your Googles out loud if you're going to Google it.
let
but-
me Google that right now. Let me Google Fuse.
Yeah, Fuse was
Metal.
pretty cool because they did the whole like, oh, we'll show concerts on here. They were recorded live concerts. But,
Uranium, it was called.
Uranium.
Uranium.
It was a
There it
television
is.
program about heavy metal, aired on Fuse TV. Yeah,
And
I
they were
remember-
trying to fill that gap that MTV like left behind.
yeah.
So what's the year on this, but vaguely?
For Uranium, it was the early 2000s.
Okay, so yeah, MTV, again, we would have been teenagers. MTV
Right-
would have
right
been
around the
past its
time.
music phase into its, as you were saying, Ryan,
Reality TV.
reality
Yeah.
TV spawned by Real World into Viva La Bam and Jackass, which
There you go. Yeah, the Real World really just changed everything. It just changed
that's
the
the first
landscape.
big hit, right? That's my
It was the
understanding.
first huge hit of reality television.
Yeah,
People loved it. Real World.
they really
and then they
did.
spawned so many different Real Worlds.
They really did.
Like
Naked and Afraid, all that.
yeah, Naked and Afraid.
Oh my god,
But yeah, MTV killed radio, and of course,
Naked
Their
and
first
Afraid
music
has
video.
some drama around it, I believe. I'm not going to say too much more without fact checking myself, but I have a recollection that like people have been denied certain items because they're too helpful.
oh wow,
Hmm.
they're like, this would save you too much.
Yeah. And like also maybe life-saving medicine, but they've maybe fixed it since then. I don't know. I don't want to get
Oh no,
no defamation here. It could be any one of those various grab people and put them in the wild shows. Naked and Afraid's just the
Yeah.
best one, the most well-known one.
I see.
that's
I know a lot of
that's
people
true.
love. What's that one show? with the what was that white guy who's like
Really,
You're really opening up the.
yeah,
I know.
really narrowing it
I
down.
know, right? I know, right? The dude who like created the box for it was like a box for parents to have sex in
What?
while their kids are like in the same room, but the kids can't like see them.
What?
You know what I'm talking about?
This is
I'm talking-
insane right
Yeah,
now.
I've-
You're speaking.
Yeah, I'm talking
You're
about
speaking crazy.
No.
the guy who had like someone voice act like a dead kid's pet one time, pet dog.
This you sound the devil? What are you describing?
Yeah. What the hell
Really?
is this, man?
It's really
That does
bad.
sound familiar, though.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
That does
show.
sound very familiar.
Is this a prank
Like,
show? Give me
It's
some
a prank
context.
show. Yeah, it's a prank show. What's that one prank show? I have to look them up. Hold on a sec.
What, like punked?
No, it's kind of like punk, but more like loose with the morals.
More loose with the morals than punked.
Yeah. Let me see here.
I mean, it's just Ashton Kutcher going around yelling at
You
people.
gotta give
What's
me.
this guy's name?
There were so many prank shows. Is it the O.J. Simpson one, infamously?
No, I don't think so. God, let me look at it.
But yeah, I mean, like, of course, MTV, while he's looking for it, MTV killed radio broadcasting in terms of news and all that by playing the first ever music video that
Yes.
they played, which was Video Killed the Radio Star.
You stole my joke out from under it. It's like, I believe the agents used to say that video killed the radio star.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're saying. But that, you know, it you can't argue with the fact that it kind of did.
He kind of did.
And then, you know, MTV abandoned music for a bit. Like after a while, like TRL became less known. But
What's
yeah, all of a
TRL?
sudden-
Sorry.
oh, Totally Request Live. Remember?
Okay. Okay.
It had Carson Daly. He would bring out artists, and then they would have interviews in New York.
Okay.
And they
Okay.
would also show, like, you know, they would have the up and the up, you know, in news on music. But yeah, and then from there, a bunch of different TV channels start spawning, and then, you know, it rolls into the streaming age and things falling apart, and now streaming platforms are now
I
taking
love-
the place of cable.
I don't think you intentionally did it, but like I think you accidentally quoted
Nathan Fielder is the guy.
Nathan
Fielder.
Fielder.
that
Okay. I actually do like Nathan Fielder.
Nathan for you.
Nathan for you, yeah.
I love that you.
I
I,
love
think
that guy.
you accidentally quoted a Chinua Achebe novel there.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. Things Fall Apart. Great book.
Yeah. Yeah,
I can't even tell which one.
that show.
But
He's done some questionable things.
Yeah.
but
I like.
it-
I hear the lawyer gets in on some of this craziness too. Like,
Got
his
to, right?
bits. But yeah, it expanded, and then like now streaming platforms are like pretty much old cable networks now, where
Yeah.
they're, you know, you have to pay for the package and you only get this stuff and that stuff.
yeah, and then YouTube kind of came up and kind of really changed the game for a lot of people.
With YouTube TV and all that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
it's crazy
interesting.
right now. It's crazy right now with like, I don't know. I hate to like call it content, but like it's, I don't know, man. You know,
It's-
just like
I mean,
It's
it is
weird.
It is like I know we all make fun of the word content,
mhm.
Yeah.
but like it is. There's reasons come to be used because it describes the.
It represents, yeah.
How do you describe all the stuff that's competing from your attention, from 24-hour live streams to a Netflix
Yeah.
miniseries to
Yeah.
something on a Billiam's
That
fucking
too.
24 hours of Lost or Quentin's
Yeah.
30 hours of Victorious, which I like. I don't know what it is in my brain that's like Boy, I actively detested Lost while it was airing. Time to sit down for 24 hours.
Time to watch it.
Somebody who
You
wasn't
watched
alive when it was
You
on the
watched
air.
all Lost. You watched all of Lost.
No, I watched the YouTuber Billiam describe Lost, which is
I
like,
see. Yeah, Lost is a weird
It's
show.
crazy.
I remember watching it,
but
when
like it's
when
so
it was
weird
on.
that my brain was like, I don't want to watch Lost. I will watch somebody describe.
I will
Lost
watch someone
to me,
talk about it.
which sounds
Yeah.
awful. Sounds like I'm a big goofball, but like,
It sounds like you're just torturing yourself,
Like-
but it's weird. It's like I
Yeah.
get it. I get what you're talking about because it's like it's just easier to consume that kind of like
I think
stuff
I think
through another person's lens. Right?
I think one thing that's kind of like that is like the YouTube channels that are like just synopses or like in depth like synopses of movies where they just it's a play by play of what's happening.
yeah,
in the
a lot of
movie.
those are. See, I need analysis. I need a human telling me some of their
Yeah.
ideas and
Yeah.
beliefs about it.
Their thoughts, their opinions on this. I need to compare.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember.
because otherwise it's just watching the
Yeah.
show but not watching the show, and that drives me nuts. And I'm not sure.
yeah.
I
Oh.
I think my favorite thing about old television was just that like at least everything that you were watching you knew would come by, and then if you wanted to watch it you would just be there at the time, right? Other than that you would go do other stuff or
Yeah.
watch other television.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But-
I feel like streaming's an advancement on that, because a lot of times, like, if you've turned into TV recently, I'm like, boy, fucking 18 hours of SpongeBob reruns,
No, yeah, I mean
punctuated
like
by
that's
Ozempic
terrible.
commercials. Like,
No, like that's definitely terrible, and that's like one of the things that I really detest about current broadcasted television, because it's just like every channel has latched on to their like golden goose that they perceive as their golden goose,
yeah,
and they just put that out like day after day after day for 8 whole hours. Like it's like what's crazy is that no one from 2014 to the future of forever beyond us would ever understand the the beauty of old broadcast television.
Yeah.
Like they'll never get that experience of like you get a different show every hour in terms of like, oh, they'll show 2 episodes of this, or you'll get a new episode, you'll get a lineup of new episodes for 2 hours,
yeah.
and then like you'll get the rerun season, which is still like a rotation of at least like 6 or 7 shows.
I just
Now
remember.
it's just
yeah.
you turn on Cartoon Network and it's Teen Titans Go for 8 hours, and then Amazing Gumball for another 8 hours. So their 16-hour runtime is populated by 2 shows, and you'll never get the situation of like, oh, how about we have a marathon of this one particular show that you like, and you get excited
Yeah, the
because it's like,
excitement's
yeah,
kinda
that's something I
gone.
want. It's not there anymore. You'll never get that dopamine hit of just like, I'll come in at 6 p.m. and watch fucking Cartoon Fridays and see a
Yeah.
new episode of Courage and Johnny Bravo and Powerpuff Girls
Maybe
and Dexter's Lab.
maybe-
all in that order.
maybe this is a pivot point. But what's your of the cartoons? And then maybe next we'll talk about the next tunes while we're playing here in Nostalgia Park, where much like Jurassic Park, nothing will ever go
Yeah.
wrong. What is your favorite
No.
cartoon?
Probably. I had a special place in my heart for Samurai Jack. I think if that counts.
Mm.
Probably not, but like
Oh,
I mean, they were a
absolutely.
cartoon.
It was?
I mean, Fridays were still around when Jack was playing. So
yeah,
they're
probably
a
Samurai
cartoon
Jack was probably my favorite. I don't like how it ended, but it's fine.
cartoon.
You can't always get what you want.
I like that run. I'm not a huge fan of the last episode, but I also don't think the last episode is bad. I think people were really hard on it, but I also like, I don't know, I'm trying to thread the needle here where I'm like, I get it.
yeah.
I get why you were not.
I mean, I
happy
didn't
with it.
find any issue with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know, it's
was
fine.
satisfied with it. He got to go home.
He got to go home. Yeah.
How about you,
All
John?
right,
What was your favorite?
Oh, what was my favorite? We're gonna say in Candyland, and I'm going to say probably the first season of Dexter's Lab, first couple seasons. I know there's animation change later on.
They were great. They were
yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was like, I think it ran for like 1 or 2 more seasons
I
with a
just
different
love
like when it hit Flash. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I love the monkey
the
superhero.
monkey bits.
The monkey
Yes.
superhero. I remember the whole the episode where it's like one of the apes was sent to space goes just it's like crash land
What
on
a
an
good
alien
bad
planet
guy
and gain like
origin.
superpowers and psychic powers
Yeah,
and shit.
Simeon.
Simeon.
No,
Yeah,
off the dome.
Simeon.
Simeon.
I love the ending to that.
Scalloped potato.
Yeah. I love
Scalloped
the
potatoes
ending
were a
of that,
letdown,
that
by the way.
episode, that monkey
After-
episode, because they bought scalloped potatoes.
I like a good scalloped potato.
No, but
I love scalloped
the ending
potatoes.
of that
As a
episode where
potato
they
lover.
bonded over the banana.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so much of that
They're
was
great.
like
Potatoes are
pastiches.
It's good.
In hindsight now, like so much of that is pastiches of shit that's so popular now, like all the Marvel stuff, like the Super Friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
Very
true.
blatant.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Super Friends.
Exactly.
And there's
Major
that,
Glory,
there's that kaiju
Valhalla.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was my
Crunk.
favorite. That was my favorite Dexter.
The
Yeah, the
Infraggable
Infraggable Crunk.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, that was
remember-
my favorite Dexter's episode where they go to Japan and everyone has a giant robot.
Yeah, speaking of pastiches.
Everyone had a
That's
giant robot. Everyone was fast talking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
then
mean, they were doing the
have a
Speed
gi-
Racer dub thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were doing the Speed Racer dub. They did the Power Rangers Megazord with Go Dexter's Family Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
Oh.
because even at that point, I had been exposed to Power Rangers, obviously thanks Haim Saban, and to a lot of Godzilla. Unironic thanks,
Yeah.
unlike the last one, to my father. Like that and the D&D episode are some of the first times I remember being like, oh, you are playing with the media here. I get what you're riffing on. I get what you're drawing from. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
D&D
the
episode was
D&D
really
episode.
Yeah.
Oh, for me, it had to be Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
that's
was my
very-
favorite
that's-
cartoon.
that might be straight the funniest one. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Ed, Ed and Eddie was insanely good.
Yeah.
Was insanely good.
It was good.
The episode where he had to fight Rolf because
Oh, yeah.
he dishonored him.
Yeah.
Rolf comes up on this show a lot.
Yeah, it does.
He's amazing. He's an amazing
great.
character.
Yeah.
He plays the ambiguously foreign guy, but like every bit of him is just the funniest character in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, he's great.
I love the episode where they were pretending like they thought everyone was being spies.
Yes.
Like they were having a secret society, but it was just really just Naz throwing a party and they didn't invite the Eds.
Yeah.
I love how many sound effects from that show. Like it escaped a sound. That's a dumb sentence. It escaped a specific soundscape that I can only compare to Looney Tunes, where it's like people know all the sound gags from Ed, Ed and Eddie now because whoever was the sound gag guy just like carved just smashed it out of the park so hard.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Every time something gets like smashed or like someone was like winding up to hit something, you get those
Yeah. Or just like the like squeaky toy saying "mama" when somebody gets hit in the head real bad. Like there's so many.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
The walk cycles were all weird.
Yeah.
Oh no, everyone had a unique movement in that show, and it was fun because it gave you their character.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I just want to say that in that episode where Eddie was all like, because Rolf was acting as the sort of bouncer for the door, he would answer the door for the party, and Eddie rings the doorbell, and he's all like, "Hello, Ed boy, do you have an invitation?" And then Eddie leans in and he goes, "The crow calls at midnight, and the cow sours the milk. Look, Ed boy, I would love to talk politics, but if you don't have an invitation, I can't let you in." And I'm like, that's politics for Rolf. Just saying like weird animal related
Yeah.
Yeah.
euphemisms. It's just super funny.
It's so
and then
funny.
from there,
It's so weird too. It's like
Yeah.
Cartoon
It got
Network
really
was
surreal
a
in some
perfect-
episodes.
It did.
like the one where the universe fell apart. I remember that being
Yeah.
the highlight. There was some like
Oh.
early fourth wall jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The universe falling apart because they were stuck in a situation and they were recounting how they got into that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the episode. I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh wait, no. What was it? I remember what you're talking about, but I think I got the two episodes mixed up. I was thinking of the one where they were all taking turns recounting how
Life has
the-
many doors, Ed boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
many doors. Yes, that was the universe falling apart one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Speaking
it
of
was
like
the
sound cues and stuff that you still are like quotes that are like
yeah.
incredibly quotable.
still in your brain years later. Yeah.
Yeah, they just sit in there, dude. They're little
Yeah.
seats.
For me, it'll always be like shows like Rugrats too, in some ways too.
mhm.
I hesitate. Like I really liked Rugrats when it was on the air.
Yeah,
But
me
I'm
too,
scared
yeah.
to revisit it because I just know it will not live up to my memories.
Some of it
I
kind
don't
of
know.
does.
Yeah,
because
I've
it's
watched a
kind-
few episodes again. They're pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely think the first 360 so episodes. I think.
that they hit a real solid stride there, but then
Yeah.
after that, I just kind of
Yeah, I don't know. As soon as they start growing up, when the movie came out and
oh
they-
when
they started
they did the
introducing
all
new
grown up.
characters, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't. All
Yeah,
grown
Oh.
up,
All Grown Up
very
was kind of
bland.
its own thing, yeah.
You mean after Rugrats in Paris?
yeah.
After they introduced Kimi and
Yeah,
Chaz's new wife.
and
Trying to remember her name.
Dylan and Dill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean? I mean, Dill was okay. First
Dill was
movie,
great. Yeah, in the first
like
movie,
introduction of Dill Pickles.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not
Yeah, I think
not
he's
my
fine.
favorite, but you know, like we don't need to relitigate it.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
mean, again, it's just
You know what has really actually held up is I've been watching a lot of stuff
Mhm.
or
Uh-huh.
rewatching it. Is Pete and Pete.
Pete and Pete, eh?
oh,
I remember
Pete.
we watched that together.
Yeah, we rewatched
need-
it at the end of high school, which was
Yeah.
years ago. But I pulled it out a couple of times since then, and like, oh my god, I don't want to like overhype it, but it's so good, you guys.
I bet.
I need
yeah.
to rewatch that show because Pete and Pete was one of the shows that I remember that I really enjoyed.
I remember the episode
of,
with
like,
Tasty Freeze.
Yep, that's like the end of summer episode where
Yeah.
he's the Tasty Freeze guy is what's
the
his
mascot?
name? Oh my gosh, I cannot. He's the ice cream man, and the whole plot is he always wears his helmet, his ice
Yeah.
cream helmet. He's got
Yeah.
a mascot
Yeah,
helmet,
yeah.
and nobody ever sees where he comes or where he goes, and the mystery is only heightened when their friend who works in a photo development hut as a summer job, which is
Has a
something.
picture of him.
Well, she gets his pictures and she develops them all, and he's wearing his mask.
The
and, like,
helmet.
yeah, the helmet. In every picture, he's in the shower wearing it. He's like in the Grand Canyon. He's like private moments, and he's still got the mask on. And oh my god, it's such a surrealist.
He's just the guy that he's the Tasty Freeze
Wasn't
guy.
there an
Yeah.
episode where like the younger Pete has a mentor who's like training him to do things like perfectly or something like that?
There is
Like, eat chicken
there is
perfect.
Artie, the strongest man in the world, played by the
Yeah.
guy who played the Tasty Freeze guy.
Yeah,
And a bunch of
Artie's
characters in
great.
Venture Brothers, and a bunch of characters in.
I mean,
He
Artie
does.
is pretty
King
cool.
of the Hill.
He's a pretty cool guy.
God, why can't I remember
Yeah.
that actor's name?
I can't remember his name either.
Okay, we do our Googles out loud.
Do
Artie,
it.
the strongest man in the world.
I mean, he's pretty great though. Let's
Yeah.
be honest.
Yes. And there's a very sad episode at the end of season 2 where Artie's like, I gotta go away now, man. You you're your own superhero. You don't need me anymore.
Oh man.
I love here on the Nicktoons wiki, it says that Artie's species is subhuman.
Wow.
He's not, he's not of this world, dude.
Not
No.
quite. Not quite.
That which reminds me, another one of the great episodes is they find out that one of their friends is an alien.
Wow.
That's insane.
He
I
came
always
to
thought
Earth because of old football broadcasts.
Wow.
He loves football?
Yeah.
That's
funny.
awesome.
That's funny.
Like,
Oh, man.
what's crazy is that, like, I remember Pete and Pete being like a really fun like live action show that
Yeah.
Nickelodeon produced. But what's crazy is that what didn't stick was the fact that it was like a weird show. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It was a deeply weird show.
Like, I remember the Adventures of Alex Mack, of the girl who gained the powers of becoming Capri
Yes.
Sun Silver Liquid.
I'm glad we all are we all agreeing that she just became Capri Sun. Also,
Yeah.
Toby Huss was the actor, but it was the same Capri Sun effect. So
what was remember the Animorphs TV show?
yes, it was not good.
That
Even
was
though the
not-
Animorphs books fucking rip.
Yeah, they do. They're really good books, aren't they?
I mean, the show was fun for bits.
Yeah.
They just didn't have the budget or the time to do a
A show about
a Star Trek level sci-fi show with
True.
the best morphing technology CG that I'm sure a small studio in Canada,
Yeah, that a small Canadian
in
studio
VFX
could
studio
offer.
in the early 90s could make.
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
Is it Toby Huss?
Toby
Are you
Huss,
right?
yes, that's the actor.
I
Thank
see.
you.
Okay. And then there's where Clarissa explains it all. Remember
I
that?
do.
Hell yeah.
I'll stand. I don't. Is this good advice? Is this bad advice? We're not a medical podcast. Don't listen to this. But in Clarissa Explains It All, one of the bits that stuck with me was she's like, if you want to fake the sniffles, wear damp socks to bed. And I swear to you, at least for me, that worked.
Hmm.
I mean,
3 out of 4
It
times
will-
it would give me the sniffles, and then I could,
that's a good way to get almost sick. Yeah.
It's a good way to probably get trench foot. But
maybe,
sure.
yeah. Maybe, yeah.
I mean, like, as long as you don't wear it forever.
yeah, and you like dry off your
You know?
feet in the morning, I think you'd be fine.
You should
Yeah.
be okay, right? Like, trench foot won't.
Trench foot was just athlete's foot, right? Is
no.
that what it was?
Oh, no.
It was
buddy.
athlete's foot
No,
different.
trench foot is worse, dude.
Yeah,
That's
athlete's
way
foot
worse, right?
is ringworm. Trench foot is like your feet are in mud and water for weeks at a time, so the skin just becomes infected and sloughs off.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the worst.
The-
I
you
know
just
it
you
You
feels
just
will not
millions-
get trench foot from sweaty socks.
no,
Okay.
unless you're a true freak.
Unless you've worn those socks and then you never took them off. Like,
I mean, I know trench
have
foot
a bigger
has
problem.
killed like thousands of soldiers in like World War II, right?
World
yeah,
War One,
remember.
yeah, but probably
World War One,
also
yeah.
World War Two.
Yeah, it was World War One. You're right.
What's great is that I mean, we talked about our favorite Cartoon Fridays
Mhm.
show.
Yeah,
What was your favorite Nick show? And since Nick had both live action and cartoons,
It's probably
we'll just
really,
split it up like that.
I'm probably gonna out myself as an edge lord, but Invader Zim probably.
I really respect Jen Vasquez.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, you have no problems
You have
like
to find
admitting.
I've heard some people kind of making some assumptions about him based off of the jokes and the artwork that he's made.
Yeah.
Oh, is
you
he
know.
bad?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, they're
Maybe.
just making assumptions, you know?
Maybe. I don't know. I think
My
one thing a friend
It's
of
his
mine kind of
opinions.
pointed out was that they kind of got this vibe off of him that he didn't like obese people. He kind of hated obese people because obese people are kind of the brunt of a lot of his jokes and
Yeah,
in
but I
his
feel like
shows.
fat phobia was just like one of the things you joked about in the 2000s. Like, not that excuses
It-
him,
it
but I
was
don't
just
know if he was
something-
any more. I don't know. I don't want to be
Right.
in a position of defending somebody who I don't really know all that well, but
Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
Again, it's
I
You
the
can
way
say
I
that it's a
see it
product
is
of the
like it's a
time.
way to interpret his work. You know,
Yeah.
it's
No,
one
yeah,
way
of
to
course.
interpret his work.
I will say my understanding is that the moment he got his like big indie comic books job, he worked at some shitty dealership or something, and he like rolled up in a Kinko's or something, and he rolled up in a new Jaguar or something and quit on the spot. And it's just like, oh,
that's funny.
That's cool.
if you work in one of those terrible places, that's the dream, right?
Yeah,
That's what you want to do. You want to go out in style.
yeah. Yeah, Invader Zim was always one of my favorites.
I
don't know
I
why.
found Squee at
No
the right
problems.
time. It's hard to recommend, but Squee and Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, when you're in that edgy phase, pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of Zim is still really quotable. If you've ever been in a service job, the whole "I want my slaw" is
I
never
want
left
my
my
slaw.
brain.
My slaw.
You both instantly knew it. See what I'm talking about?
You have your slaw, sir.
No, but I want my slaw. There is
You
a
have
slaw
your
right
slaw,
there.
sir. I want my slaw.
It's nothing but sawdust.
I was lucky enough to only work in the service industry very briefly, but I had a lot of experiences like that. And I have to imagine if you're in food service,
Yeah,
it's
not
probably
great.
amplified by like
Yeah.
100.
I
It's
was
not great.
I was working at a little pottery place, which was a nice little job. Well lasted.
Yeah,
But like, ooh, food service, my heart goes out to you. All you line
Yeah.
cooks, all you fry cooks.
you're doing God's work out there.
You're doing God's work. You're doing God's work by providing food that we enjoy eating, but also enduring people who are less than savory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think my favorite Nick show. It had to be probably Rugrats.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
honorable mention for me is Rocco's Modern Life too.
Rocco's is big.
Yeah.
Rocco's was big for me too. But I mean, if it was a show that I didn't want to miss, it would probably have been Rugrats. But I loved Rocco.
Rocco's
So
so
deeply.
great.
Rocco's. I mean, I'll say the rote thing that everyone says is like, "Hey, you watch that again?" There's a lot of adult jokes in that slipped by you when you were a kid.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
The one that I remember fondly was the motel joke. The motel joke in where they're taking a road trip and it's Rocco and Heifer, and they come up and there's the stereotypical Asian guy at the motel counter, and they're like,
I'm bracing
One-
myself for some '90s.
it's so funny because it's just all like, it's like a room for the whole night, please. And he goes, "Wow, the whole night? That's crazy. Well, I don't know if we'll be." Oh, and then it's like, ding. He's like, "Oh, someone just finished." And of course, it's a joke on people go to these
Yeah, like a love
nowhere-
hotel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
People go to these nowhere motels to do hookups.
Yeah.
You just assume that this big heifer cow and this little wallaby boy,
I love the
we'll be
deli
hitting off
episode
all
of
night.
Rocco.
the deli episode.
I've never
Mhm.
worked in animation. I have a lot of friends who do, and it seems pretty accurate. I
Yeah.
think if you've ever had
The
creator
Wacky
burnout,
Deli?
where the project you love no longer brought you joy, and that
Yeah,
weird place, I think the Wacky Deli is a good encapsulation of that.
the Wacky Deli was an awesome episode.
I still yell like, "I am the cheese. I'm the best character. Like, I am the X. I'm the best
cheese.
character."
am the cheese.
I am the best character in
when
this
it's
show.
when it's context appropriate. But if anytime we're watching a show and the character's getting a little too much screen time, clearly it's
I
like the
am the
writers or the
cheese.
showrunner's favorite. I'm just like, I am the cheese.
my other favorite adult innuendo joke was the Rocco taking different jobs because he got fired from the comic book store.
phone.
So he becomes a phone sex operator, but they don't say that.
Yeah, it's
But
just
like he fixes it, he's like, "Oh baby, oh baby, oh
in
baby."
the monotone. Yeah. Not
It's so funny.
there. Hey, we do a D&D podcast. I talk about
Yeah.
Warhammer a lot. We're all comic book people. We've been in these stores, but there's that bit from the comic book store where one character is describing to another character the beauty of an elf.
Oh,
It's like, and you will never just the delivery where someone's doing it really nasally and really slowly. And the
you
other
will
character's
never
like,
find it.
"Wow, you're an idiot!" Like I've just no offense, but like,
Wow.
come on, we've been there.
We've been there.
They've
No, I love it.
metastasized into
love
incels,
it.
but like we've all been in comic shops with that guy. Like,
yeah. Wow, you're an idiot.
You turn the page, you wash your hands. You turn the page, you wash your
Yeah.
hands.
Oh, that. Speaking about lines that never escape my brain.
yeah,
Turn the page.
especially
wash
during
your
COVID.
hands. Turn the page. Wash your hands. And then you turn the page, and then you wash your hands.
I'm gonna be boring. Like Invader Zim is way up there for me. Pete and
Mhm.
Pete is way up there for me. It's probably my favorite just because it's survived the rewatch the best.
Mhm.
But I will be interesting and say, like, my runner-up, the third member to my holy trilogy here is Angry Beavers.
Oh yeah, Angry Beavers.
A lot of like, I
Yeah.
think my love of Lucha started with Angry Beavers, which is embarrassing to
Right,
admit.
The Lucha
Yeah.
episode.
There's a
Yeah.
recurring Lucha character called El Gripadora, right? Or like
Yeah,
a
El
stable.
Gripadora.
And also like all the B horror movie stuff, which has been a part of
Yeah.
my life. I don't think it started there.
Oxnard Montalvo.
Oxnard Montalvo.
I
And-
remember you
Their
the Halloween
favorite
episode
actor?
where
Oh.
he shows up.
Yeah, the
yeah.
Halloween episode's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
great Halloween episode. I also really like the Street Sweeper episode.
Yeah.
You guys remember that? Where it's
I remember that.
the premise is that they have won a street sweeper from buying enough box tops, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the running joke throughout the show is everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, "Well, every beaver wants to own a street sweeper."
Street Sweeper.
And they
Yeah.
finally make it inside the factory and get to the street sweeper, and you can see that there's like hundreds of other beavers who've been promised the street sweeper and it's not been delivered, who've broken into the factory and also gotten trapped. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm doing a bad job of explaining the joke, but the payoff for this absurd joke where they like make the weirdest statement and they stick to it until you're like, well, yeah, of course, every beaver wants a street
Wants to be
sweeper.
Street Sweeper.
It's first grade. Come on.
And they nail it home by showing that scene.
Yeah, it's so good. It's really funny. Well, I also think I have to mention SpongeBob. It's a quote factory. It's a meme factory.
Mhm.
It really
like,
is.
man,
It's crazy how like SpongeBob just captured the zeitgeist
yeah,
so, like-
SpongeBob and Ween as the musical
Yeah.
act did most
and
like
Shrek for some
Yeah.
It
reason.
did a lot of heavy lifting. But
But,
once 2000s hit and they're like, hey, we're going to show a new cartoon at the end of the Kids' Choice Awards, and boom, SpongeBob hit the screen. Fuck.
in the late first off, Steven Hillenburg, R.I.P. But the fact that he was a marine biologist and like
Mhm.
became
Yeah.
a cartoon guy is very speaks of a time that no
That's
longer
super
exists for
funny.
animation. Super cool.
For real,
Um,
yeah.
But I particularly how do I phrase this? The Encino jokes. I want to dox myself. I've spent a lot of time in Encino. I know Encino quite well. All the Encino jokes, especially with Patchy the Pirate, really get me. Encino,
The fact that his
California.
house, his house is in Encino, California. Oh, fuck.
I wonder how many of these like young YouTube stars and TikTok stars who have since moved to Encino, California, like, did they get incepted by Patchy the Pirate? Or is it just 'cause
Maybe.
that's a reasonable neighborhood where you can buy a big house that's not too far away from where the action is?
Maybe.
True.
Um,
I mean, it could be all of
it's
those
no
things.
Burbank, all right?
It's no Burbank. But then again, it's impossible to live in Burbank if you're like, unless you're a huge YouTube star.
Yeah, well, or have roommates
Or
or
you
find.
run a streamer house where you live with like 5 other
We
streamers.
can't even talk about hype houses because I will.
Oh,
My
man.
folks
We
had to
should
run him
move
in the
into a
hype
streamer house. That should be our plan.
Oh my god. I don't know if that would be physically possible.
Nah.
That would be
it's
fun.
not-
That would be
it's a-
incredibly
it's
fun.
probably
but
a bad idea.
that'd be incredibly fun, but it'd be hard because one, you're married.
Yeah, it wouldn't
And
be.
you have to
It wouldn't
bring
be a
it-
great situation.
I'm
You'd have to
married.
bring your
It'd be
wife
a
into
hard
the streamer,
sell.
right?
It'd be a hard sell for
Yeah.
my wife.
Yeah, living with 2 of your best friends in a streamer house where they're in like rooms that are halfway across the home.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
it'd be a hard sell. Hard sell. For me and Judd, it'd be a hard sell.
Yeah.
He's
What
like, I
else?
also have a wife.
Yeah.
If you don't remember.
I do. She loves it up here, and so do I.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
Oh.
too dangerous? Do we spend too much time in the nostalgia
no.
zone? Are we
No,
pathetic?
that's fine,
no,
that's
it's
fine.
no. Wait, hold on. Let's stay here for a bit.
Okay.
For my live action show, it's hard because I had a lot of the live action shows that I really enjoyed from Nick were mostly game shows.
Yeah.
Hey, we haven't
Uh,
said any game shows, and they had a lot of good ones, man. Legends of the
They-
Hidden
yeah.
Temple.
Yeah.
I
Up
still-
there.
I still have
it's my
Legends-
number one.
I still have Legends of the Hidden Temple merch. I got a green Jaguars shirt.
Why couldn't they put together
Red
the monkey?
Jaguars.
Why could they? Was
I
the
would-
monkey so hard
what
to
the
put together?
contestants have said is they're like, look, you don't see the puzzle beforehand. You've just been sprinting for 5 minutes, being chased
Yeah,
by adult
You're
men.
exhausted.
You're exhausted. There's lights in your face. There's smoke machines, and this monkey looks the same from 3 sides. And you're supposed to build it facing away from you.
I see.
So
I mean, that's
it makes
okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
I want to. I want to believe people and to trust witnesses. But watching that show, you're like, how could you have fucked up a 3-piece size-based puzzle?
right, especially with the head being a stick. It's like, come on.
Yeah. I imagine it was
But-
maybe hard to get the stick in the hole through the rest of the body.
Oh
but
yeah, through the rest of
I
the
don't know.
statue, probably. But it's like, I don't know. You watch Legends of the Hidden Temple, and of course you get the whole like, I'm an audience member, but I could totally fucking do that.
Yeah, I applied to be on the reboot that I never actually saw.
Oh, man.
Oh,
well.
it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I watched a few episodes. Not great. It's weird. It was all outdoors, and then
I mean, that makes sense. Like,
It makes sense, but it's like it doesn't have that same feel that like you're in some kind of cave or temple.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's like the studio itself played a part in like being like, okay, you're encased in this building that is ancient and hidden and a temple.
yeah,
But apart from that, it's like since they were outside, the cool thing is that they managed to go more vertical with the temple. The bad thing is that it was less horizontal.
yeah,
So like you
Yeah.
didn't have like the 6-room sprint that was like half a block long.
yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So like you missed out on that. And
Yeah.
it just felt like a lot of the rooms were more boring in the new episode.
I guess. Did you
Then
have
the
a
new show.
favorite puzzle or trap in the temple? Should we go there?
I can't remember.
Oh yeah. I think my favorite one would either be the light room, which was interchanged with the king's throne room,
Mm-mm.
or the again like the throne room. That bottom temple room was interchanged a lot.
Hmm.
With the king's throne room, it was the pull the strings and you put the skull on the body, which was fun. The light room, which was you pull the panels off and a beam of light would show up. It was also switched out with the jester's room. I guess in general, my favorite was that bottom room.
That bottom room.
The bottom room right under the heart chamber, which changed out.
The heart
only, I
chamber
think,
was
once.
had a weirdly menacing aura. I recall.
Yeah, it was deep red, kind of magenta-y.
Yeah.
But like, there wasn't really any puzzles in it. It was just a few doors that you hit a button in.
Yeah.
And before, it was a different one. Before it just became the heart room, it was the pillar room, which like was confusing because it was a bunch of toppled over pillars, and the way you got through was you had to tip a pillar in a certain direction, which I guess they got rid of it because it was confusing. But
Mhm.
it was like, but anyway, yeah, that bottom room was probably my most favorite, apart
Yeah.
from the silver monkey, the shrine of the silver monkey.
I mean, I think we're all gonna say we'll just veto Shrine of the Silver Monkey because I think everyone's gonna say that, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't remember.
The shrine of the silver monkey was fine.
I don't remember it enough, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fine.
I like the
Um,
observatory just because you get a cool little light thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a light show. You spin the dial, and
Yeah.
then you get a light show.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But
They changed that one out a few times with a few
Yeah.
other ones. They had the pots, the ceramic pots
Oh,
that
that
you
you had
break
to like
open.
go all Legend of Zelda on.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you get a stick key and you have to put it in one of the pillars. I think another fun one was the haunted forest.
Yeah, where
Mm.
they just had a guy in a tree costume grab you. Very
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah. You're like, do I stick my hand in here? And you're like, maybe. And then the guy hugged you in the costume.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then there was
I don't know how to close this one out, guys.
I don't know how to close this one out. Hey,
Nickelodeon Guts was the best sports game show that you could ever have.
It really was.
I like the aggro crack.
The aggro
The aggro crag was great. Come on, man. The sports was fun on there. They weren't sports, but they did shit with basketballs.
I'm a man. When you get down to it, I'm a man who really enjoys camp. I'm a man who really enjoys theming, and it was just stripped of all theming.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
mean?
just sports.
The theming
It
was
just
Olympics.
sports. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
But it was Olympics for kids, and it was fun.
I guess.
Yeah.
I
It was
just
X
remember.
Games, you know.
All right.
All right.
Dude,
Hey, thanks.
I'll give you that. But you can't argue that Wild and Crazy Kids wasn't fun.
I did like Wild and Crazy Kids. Whatever faint memories I have of it, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one was the hit the T-ball into the wall of glass.
Yeah.
That one was great.
Speaking
okay.
of stupid shit they should reboot. Anyway, hey listener, thanks for strolling down memory lane with us. And if these aren't your memories, A, we're sorry. B, I hope it was still entertaining.
Yeah. This was an episode of Tangents, and
Yeah.
it was fun.
Also
we
the
loved
season
it.
finale. So just
Yeah,
wanted to
we didn't tell you.
just want to
We
tell
didn't
you
tell you
guys.
beforehand.
Just want to tell you
The
guys.
last episode was the finale. This is the epilogue.
This is the epilogue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
there
go.
we go.
We'll
And,
space it out like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't be mad.
So,
Yeah.
in that case, let's quickly. You want to tell them the plan, Julio? For we're not gone
So,
forever. We're trying
we'll be back next year. We're taking a
we
break.
love you.
Taking a little break for the for the
Rest of the year.
for the holidays. We're gonna be gone from Thanksgiving to New Year's, so we'll be back.
We'll be partying it up.
We'll be back. We'll be back in January. When exactly? You'll find out.
God knows.
We'll
we
let you know.
we promised January.
We've got one more episode coming out in Christmas, and you'll know by then.
Crimbus. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you, Jesse Sanders, for making our music. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, Julio.
Thank you for being my friends.
Yeah, thank you.
We love you.
Hey,
Aw.
listener, let somebody merge.
Yeah. Hey, and if you're the guy emerging, if you see us slow down, just take the lane, bro. I can't take watching you stand there for a minute in your car, not taking the lane after turning on your signal. Please, for the love of God, I've given
also
you space.
Use your turn signal. Use your turn
Use your
signal.
turn signal.
I love how you started this out nice, and now you guys are scolding. I just wanted to put a little good out into the world. You guys are like, listen, LA drivers.
Man.
Why high beams?
Okay.
up?
That I will agree with. As somebody who drives smaller cars, I get blinded every night. Please, no high beams.
Oh yeah. Hey, if it's early morning at like let's say 7
Yeah, we have to end
a.m.
the episode.
and you're sitting at the stoplight and you have your high beams on and it's shooting me straight in the retinas, maybe perhaps don't have those on at 7 in the morning where the light is out.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah,
Thank
rate us
you.
5 stars, leave a comment, shoot us an email. We love you.
We love you. Do
We'll read
something
it
nice
out.
for somebody else. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Buy us coffee.
Yeah.